But if you also don't follow through or take action, nothing will change. I mean, sometimes it changes, but it's not always just like the fairy tale rainbow and things just appear in your life. Sometimes they do manifest, but you do have to do work. Hey everybody, welcome to Lauren.live, the Spirituality and Health Podcast. I've got Steve Wiltshire with me. What's up, Steve?
So excited to be here. I want everybody to know they're in the right place. I love your podcast. I love what you're about. It's so unique. Can't wait to share it with our followers.
Yes, it's going to be a fun one. Steve's got a lot of energy and we have a lot to cover. So he is a coach, a mentor, and he's the founder of Body Temple Health and Wellness. We'll get into what that is. He's got cool products. He's got a cool gift he's going to talk about. But first, just who are you? What's your background? Whatever you want to share. And then we'll get into this. But this is kind of the main thing of why you started your company. Mm-hmm. You healed yourself from an autoimmune. So we need to hear about that.
Oh, gosh, where do I start? I'd say my passion and my mission is helping people get through challenges and get to the other side to live a life of vitality and joy. And when we realize at the deepest that this one gift we've been given during this lifetime is called the body, and we learn to listen to it and honor it and bring forth that connection between mind, body, and spirit, we live a life that is full of vitality and joy, because you just can't have the mind wants to feel good and the mind wants us to be active. But when you tie in all three, what happens is you just become this higher vibration, spiritual being, having a human experience. I can't even tell you. So we'll talk more about that. But that's my joy.
Yeah.
That's my mission.
I love it. So when did you have an autoimmune? How did you heal it? That was before you obviously started the Body Temple Wellness, right?
Yeah. I've been an entrepreneur coach for many years and held thousands of seminars and keynote messages. And so going back, great question. When I knew I wanted to change my health, I was actually at an entrepreneur convention, and we got to the very end of the convention, and Patricia Fripp from London, this just very energetic, 5'1", awesome human being, said, "I got a question for you. And before I give you this inquiry, I want to hear silence for at least 1 minute." So 4,600 people got quiet. And she looked at the audience and she said, "What are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of?" And I wrote down, "I hate my body." That's what I wrote down. And so, looking back, being raised by a, semi-pro dad, I was the middle boy, I was the one that wasn't coordinated, wasn't athletic, kind of became defensive about it, never really engaged in that. And I just wanted to transform my body. So I came home from this convention, and my wife, who choreographs and owns a dance studio, she connected me with this, female bodybuilder that she had been choreographing for the Miss Olympia pageant. So I just kind of got involved in that group. Now, what I want to set up is that it wasn't the best choice, but I didn't know what I did know. Back then, I didn't know about functional medicine. I don't think there was such a thing as functional medicine going back almost 30 years. And so here I become this incredibly fit guy. I'm, going down this path, and then decide to do bodybuilding shows. But what was ironic, moving in this journey, everything that I thought I was doing was right. But most everything I learned from experts with these radical meal plans that show up in under the umbrella of keto, these aggressive diets and all these supplements that I had no idea, would have ever believed that there would be a chemical in a supplement. Dummy. In my mind, I'm like, all supplements are good for you. And so I just remember being with my son at a vegan restaurant, and all of a sudden I'm just so bloated. I thought I should go into the hospital. I looked 4 months pregnant. It just quit. And that's what happened with the gut. The gut just gets done. And then all of a sudden you're starting the pathway of autoimmune, and it starts with celiacs. It increases, it grows into, I'll say, like possibly MS at the highest spectrum. So I just contacted my doctor, and the next 4 days later, I got in the next day, and 4 days later, I get my blood work back, and he's like, "It looks great." I'm like, "What do you mean it looks great?" Every time I drink water, every time I eat, I don't feel well. Well, my son's mom had been on this journey of healing herself from 3rd stage breast cancer. No chemo, no radiation, no surgery. And you'd love to have her on the show. Like, she is what Joe Dispenza would call a highly conscious person. She's not even the same person. My son and I talk about it. Like, she completely healed herself, and she's at 99% all the time. Just like amazing. And cancer, just major cancer in her family. Her sister died when she was 19. Lynn was 12. Like, sometimes we're dealt with that hard. Good for everybody to hear. Like, we have these genetics that we're dealt with, and they're gifts when we start to turn it around. But I was so concerned about her dying and not really listening that, she's going to leave our 12-year-old behind. We're divorced and we're close, and we're actually in business together. We have been. She's my partner with Body Temple Health and Wellness. But so she kind of got me going on this journey with everything that she had learned from Hippocrates Health Institute in Southern Florida, which is, incredible. And it changed my life. It healed me.
Okay. So, we kind of talked before, and you mentioned this. So do you think your gut was wrecked because of all the chemicals in the supplements and these radical meal plans? Like, do you think you kind of just like screwed the biome up, if you will?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Like I said, what happened? I mean, the storyline is that I was 44 years old. And a lot of my friends, especially my gym friends, are like, "You got to do a show." They're like, "You doing a show? You doing a show?" "I'm not doing a show." And they're like, "You look like you're doing a show. You need to do a show. You're getting old. Like, why didn't you just do a show?" And I really didn't have any interest in that, but it was a very strong evolution time in my life. And I thought, I want to be in the greatest capacity ever of my spirituality, intellect, emotions, and physicality. So I thought, why not? This isn't about winning for me. This is about 12 to 16 weeks. I ended up doing 2 shows. And here's what I want everybody to hear. Like, this blew me away. And this is such a gift if you perceive this and hear what I'm going to say. When I started on this journey, I started creating non-negotiables and boundaries around everything I was eating, putting in my mind, my meditation, my workouts, even practicing posing. And what I realized, it was the only thing in my life I had control over. Team affected me, spouse affected me, every move that anybody would make around me would affect some form of my life. But it was the only thing that I really had control over. And it was, I couldn't understand. I do all these assessments on values with clients. And I'm like, why do I feel so happy? And I was realizing, because I was in integrity with my word. I was in integrity with, like, I didn't get it all done today with business, but I did follow through with what was important to me. And so it just changed my life, realizing, oh, well, I got full control over my health. And even that's difficult, right? Because we have these triggers. We'll talk more about triggers and how to shift poor habits to ideal habits. So that's what really changed me. And when I ended up, I didn't even care about winning, but I won all first categories in both shows and then overall. But I just stayed with this supplement program after I won. I was buying about $900, $850, $900 worth of supplements every month. And then 2 years later, crash. You would have never thought it. Nobody would have ever even imagined it. But yeah, my biome, my whole gut was full of candida and I couldn't get rid of it. I'm a very focused person. I had no brain. I would have to go to colonics every fourth day to get my fog to go away. And I mean, I had these leadership retreats, in Vegas. I just was like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? I felt so different. And over those 18 months, what I realized is I never want to go back there again. And so part of it's education and part of it's decision. And when you have a plan, things can change.
Wow. Yeah, I have opinions on supplements. My husband he wasn't professional, but he did build back in his day. And even when we first met, he had all these like caffeine, green tea, and I'm just like all these things. I'm like, no, like less is more. Like the more that you're putting in your body, like it's just hard on your body. You have to detox that. It's hard on your organs, your gut. So I'm glad that you realized that. So did you cut him out? I mean, you just made a decision to.
I love what you're saying. I want everybody to hear that. Like it's worth just even rewinding and listening to what Lauren just said, because I didn't know a lot of supplements was hard on your kidneys. I didn't know there were chemicals in supplements. Some of these sweeteners, like we have an ebook on, we have a body temple, shopping guide, body temple ingredients to avoid. I didn't know some of these sweeteners that are in supplements and so much processed food are worse than a straight shot of 151. Do you know how hard 151 is? They are so bad. Now, I have a chemical-free supplement line. I have 3 products. I only focus on gut health. I don't even take like a lot of supplements, but the gut's the engine of the mind. The gut runs the body. It just is part of it. It's a big part of it. It is the umbrella of everything. And when your gut isn't in balance, like I just had my pond maintenance today, ironically. And he came out and he said, what are you doing? Like your pond is fantastic. And I said, I'm just following the plan that you gave me. He said, oh, people forget. Yeah, he's just this expert with ponds. He's like, well done. But see, that's the rub. Like many of you don't have a plan. And you're so overwhelmed with all this content that you got to choose one person or a few people you're going to follow. So for example, the free gift, the 15-day Kickstart Detox program, and way more than a 15-day gut detox. But what it's about is to get you to kickstart you into maintenance. And part of that process is the plan that we give you in that 42-minute video. We give you 3 plans to choose from. And some of you just want to get your feet wet and you just, you're ready to up your game. Some of you know you got some serious health issues and maybe even your blood work looks fine, but something's wrong and you need to up your game. And some of you are sick and you need to go narrow like Lynn had to go narrow. Lynn's a sprouter. I mean, everything she does, but she didn't get here overnight. It was a process of getting educated. So, and that's what's made me successful financially and successful in business and successful with like even my miracle morning ritual. It sets up my day. Like if I don't do that, even for a short period of time, God, sorry, my cat's behind me. I got fur blowing around everywhere.
We're live, everybody.
Yeah, right. Oh, she's like the best cat ever. But the plan is everything. And that's what you'll get. That's a big part of what you'll get in that 15-day Kickstart Detox program. We'll tell you more about that.
That's nice that you offer that because you're right. I think what we don't know, right? And it's not like a shaming thing. Like I didn't know things 10 years ago, or we're constantly learning. There's more information coming out about stuff. But I think one basic thing that's really helped me is just like start slow, right? Like it's not overnight. It's definitely a lifelong practice, but start reading the ingredients in your foods and your supplements and look them up. And there's just basics, right? Dyes and fake sugars, things that are processed we weren't made to be eating that stuff, right? So it's basic, but you have to really be diligent with it. So I think that's amazing that you have a guide for people because there are a lot of people suffering and it breaks my heart. they're not feeling
what
well.
you're saying. Like I love the jam that we're in right now. Like I want to backtrack on what Lauren just said. First of all, what she prompted in my mind is that the reason all these entrepreneurs, like I have all these coaches in my entrepreneur brand, and I'm somewhat phasing out of that because my passion is health and well-being. But like, why did they have these increases in productivity and increases in income and increases let's go into like, they hire us to build an empire or improve business to realize, these principles work to improve my marriage, to improve my health, to improve my fun and recreation. And a big part of it is training the brain how to think. Because the greatest gift that we've given in the body is really the frontal lobe. It's this separation, or better said, differentiation between animals and human beings. And the primal mind is the part that runs most human beings. So the frontal lobe has the capacity, scientists say, of trillions of megabytes, and most human beings are walking around with 2,000. So when I mentioned my miracle morning ritual, what is that about? Like if I were to, well, first of all, I will tell you that you'll hear from a coach when you join the Kickstart Detox, and they just reach out. They just once to say, is there any resources we can get for you? And you can actually ask for my miracle morning ritual outline. It's a outline of everything that supports my clients and members in our community, and creating that ritual. But there's 4 commonalities that we all have: physical, relational, spiritual, and professional / like income, right? Financial. And when Lauren said, and we got to, it's a process. It takes time. One of my generic affirmations for clients to say, body temple clients to say, or get their mind to work, is I'm going to enjoy the journey and stay in process. When I go south on my plan, I'm going to bless, release, love myself, and get back on track. I'm going to enjoy my life no matter what is going on. Good things are always happening to me. I'm attracting everything that I need to make greater choices that focus on personal power, not circumstantial power. I'm reading all that, and I didn't write that. I don't just make that up. Like I'm constantly going back and journaling and thinking about contrast. What does that mean? Contrast is the polarity of the experience of Earth, right? And our time here, wanted and unwanted conditions. See, when you start to own that they're all good, I'm in the receptive mode. You're saying I'm in the receptive mode. And this circumstance happens to you like, well, tells me what I want. What do I want? And then you focus on what you want, because law of attraction is a thing. Yeah. It's a real thing. It's like gravity, right? What are you thinking? Lauren, I see you.
I just did an episode with, Bob Doyle. He's a contributor in The Secret. Yeah. The Secret. Everybody knows The Secret.
Yeah.
And so it was all about law of attraction. I've done a couple episodes on law of attraction, but I agree with you. I loved the affirmations that you just said. That's such a great thing that you're giving a tool to your clients, and you just shared. It's not going to be perfect. Like, if you fall, it's okay. If you have blips, it's part of the journey. Like having grace and just positivity, and good things are coming my way, and just continuing to I don't know. I just loved everything that you said. I think people should write those down, because it's hard. It's hard to be human, and we're all juggling a lot in different aspects of our life. And I think if you can try to remember that, I do believe the universe wants the best for us. Just our egos get in the way, and we kind of beat ourselves up. We're always the hardest on ourselves. And so I really love the affirmations that you shared. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's stay here. See that it's not as hard. Or how about if it wasn't as hard as you thought it was? Mm-hmm. And then what does that mean? How do we bring that into an experience? Right. Well, I'll say, first of all transformation happens in environments. if your marriage or your partnership's not going well, you don't wish it to get better, right? You're going to check in somewhere. You're going to go to a counselor. You're going to go see a therapist. You're going to go find a coach. You're going to join a community of people that are working on their marriage, right? It's the same thing with health. It just doesn't wish it to get better. You find an environment. Well, where's your hub to improve your life? Where's that? I mean, if you gave yourself, I'm going to say it like this. Nobody gets my morning but me and my creator. Nobody. Nobody. And so I didn't know, like I tried to meditate for years. I sucked at it. And why did I suck at it? Like my mind would start to race of all these things that were important to me. And I'm supposed to just not write them down. Like, I mean, I didn't know how to meditate. And if you were to create that, the way that you see it, what will happen, all of a sudden things will start to change, meaning you're the creator of your own reality. So what happened for me? Like I started going to YouTube and listening to guided meditations. And sometimes I do a charger bath and listen to guided meditation. That means I'm leveraging my time. What's going on? I'm in Epsom salt, magnesium, essential oils, some baking soda, food grade peroxide that like pumps your immune system and gives you energy. And then I got out and I would just start to stretch and then on the floor and reading my affirmations. And then sometimes I would check in to see like, why am I feeling this anxiety? What's really going on behind it? It's all in the program that we have. When you reach out to a coach, Phil, or support, you can just ask for the Miracle Morning Ritual. Here's where I want to circle back to. We said, how about if it wasn't so hard? Your soul is 2 steps ahead of you. You can call it Jesus. You can call it universe, higher self, inner guidance system, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. It's 2 steps ahead. So if you were constantly tapping into that and asking it, like, what do I need to learn here? I'm excited about what I'm attracted in my life. Guide me to the people that have my answers to elevate my health. I'm tired of being overweight. I want to feel good. I want to look good. Guide me to those podcasts, that information. I'm excited about it. I know it's coming my way. When you start to believe it, you start to manifest, because what is manifestation? It's where desire and belief match. Desire is a little easier, but belief starts to gel when you start to see the evidence.
Yeah. And good. Not like it's a mistake, but it's just a habit. I'm like, life is hard. Well, okay, it can be challenging, but it's opportunity. It's not always have to be hard. It's an opportunity, right? But even me just saying that was what I talked about in that Law of Attraction episode, rewiring your brain, right? Thinking about it differently. Instead of this is hard, how about this is an opportunity for me? Because you could go many which ways, right? So I don't know. I love, and also, can I have that bath? That sounded amazing. That recipe of that bath. I want that bath. I've done Epsom salt, but I love like the magnesium. There's so many, you know what's so cool about this? About our podcast, about our conversation, about right now in this world. There's so many tools and resources to help us. Like, how cool is that? There's a lot of information and you have to find what's right for you. And there's different, as you know, diets and foods that hit people different ways, but there's so many different cool things out there to help us succeed, feel better. So I want to celebrate that. Like the bath, just a small little thing, something self-care. Like that's so easy and amazing and available for us. And
let's stay here. So gosh, this is great, juicy conversation. So, I interpret what Lauren just said is you'll know when it feels right. You're like, oh, wow, I like her. I like him. Like if you're resonating with something at the core, it means yes. I call it like this: green light or yellow light. Maybe I'm not ready for it. Or red light. Even when I'm trying to be coaxed by a friend, hey, come on, please. I want to see you. Come hang out, blah, blah. I'm not getting the green light, man. I can't. It's just not getting the green light. I'll let you know. Right. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with most of you. You're going to jump into the Kickstart Detox and you're never going to watch the video. Let me tell you why. When Lauren said, I would love to get that, it's called a supercharger bath. I didn't just sort of hear her and say, yeah, okay, great. I wrote it down on a sticky note. Now I got a lot of sticky notes, but it's because it's going to find itself into a calendar. We live in a structured world. You know, you register for something, you get an email, and then you get a text, and then you're reminded, and you don't have any structure, then that's the area that you need to improve. Like the pond guy, he's like, he hadn't been out here for a year and a half. Like, and he's like, your pond looks great. My God, your water looks great. Well, I'm just following the instructions that he gave me, because I don't want to deal with that. I want it to look good. My cat drinks out of it. Like, get it?
Yeah.
So that's it. Like when you register for that Kickstart Detox, tell yourself, I'm really going to be committed to watching this 42-minute video. And if you like what you're hearing from me, Lynn's over the top. Like Lynn is the plan. Like she goes right into the plan and how the choices of, I mean, she's just, like Joe Dispenza says, just this high evolved human being. And she's so pure and loving. And I love how she talks about kind of like what Lauren said, you know, she talks a lot about being gentle with yourself, giving yourself grace. And all of a sudden the universe just conforms.
Yeah. Just release this being and letting go can actually bring in a lot. But you know, like I'm here, you wrote down the note to remind yourself to give me the information, but it's like the manifesting, you got to believe it, but then there is action that you have to take too. And, you know, we kind of touched on that. And so it's a good segue because you had mentioned this, and I'll make sure we talk about it, about the gut and the mind being connected. And I want you to explain more about that. But it's like, okay, you can know something, but if you also don't follow through or take action, nothing will change. I mean, sometimes it changes, but it's not always just like the fairy tale rainbow and things just appear in your life. Sometimes they do manifest, but you do have to do work. So,
mastery.
And I've heard that actually like depression and mental illness sometimes can stem from our gut health. Like it's fascinating.
I can't believe you brought that up. Like most people don't even get that. Like I didn't.
How is it connected? Like, can you explain that?
Oh gosh, you know, I wrote an ebook on how I diminished anxiety and depression without drugs. Those of you that deal, like, I don't know that I've ever really had depression, but I have had anxiety. And I know where it's with I've had a coach every year since I've been 33 years old. I'm 58. And just, you know, FYI, like, I can't believe the people that come up to me at a gym or in a sauna and they're like, can I ask you how old you are? I mean, I probably obviously look older in the face, but
you don't look 58, but I mean.
Thank you. But, you know, and I don't do it to look good, although that is, you know, part of what happens externally, because our internal world creates our external reality, right? But circling back, I went on a little bit of a tangent, man.
Okay, well, you're going to tell us about the gut, anxiety.
Gut.
Yeah.
Depression. So I dealt with this at 26 years old. And I remember bringing this to this coach, and like my mother and father were always, you go to school and even if you don't feel good, you made the commitment, you follow through. Like it was really a prostitute philosophy, like sacrifice yourself always. So although I always appeared cool, there was so much anxiety, like my breathing, even when I started, for years, worked with trainers, they were like, dude, breathe. Like I would just be holding my breath and like pumping up these weights. Right. And so I didn't realize the connection with the gut and depression, for me, anxiety. And I say this on behalf of all the children in the world with conscious parents. When your little child says, my tummy aches, my tummy hurts, it means I don't know how to express myself. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. So why are all these people with autoimmune, sensitive people, many, you know, and so you're absolutely right. There's an emotion behind the whole gut health issue. Like, and I know as I started to heal and being right on, 100% on with my meal plan And then I would get anxiety or overwhelmed. And all of a sudden I'm bloated.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that. That's when I started to research that. You're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up.
Gosh, it's such a topic. It's like hard because I could go all over the place with this. I love that you brought up the tummy ache with the kids, because some of it is probably stuff for eating, but some of it is emotional for sure. I remember I had a lot of stomach aches, and just if you're worried about things, and like kids that are having constant ones, that's different than an occasional one. If you eat too much sweets, like, yeah, you're gonna have a stomach ache, but constant stomach aches and stuff, that's something to look at. That's really, that's important. Yeah, that makes me sad, but I think it's your body literally telling you, like, I need change, I need help, I need to be able to feel. Like, your body tells you what you need to know. It's just discovering it can be tricky sometimes, right? But, and I love also, I'm going back one more thing. It can get really complicated with the biome and this and different diets, but ultimately I think we are all a little different. So we can remove that, like keto versus vegan, what's better. Each of us is a little different. How do you feel when you eat something? If you can eat toast and you feel okay, lucky you, enjoy the bread, because bread tastes good. But a lot of us are sensitive to it. How do you feel? Not what someone else is telling you what to do, keto or vegan. So I think that's a simple rule. Just like, how do you feel right now, or after you eat something, or when someone says something to you, or you're doing something in your job, like, go back to your intuition, right?
Yeah, I have this client, man, that really helped me see that. And like, her doctor wanted her on antidepressants, and she's like, no, not going to do it. And I said, how did you overcome that? And she said, red wine.
Oh, wow.
And I said, really? And she said, yeah, I'm not a heavy drinker, maybe a half a glass or a glass, 5-6 times a week, sometimes 2 on an occasion when I'm really overwhelmed. But she's like, I'm not on antidepressants. My weight's great.
Yeah.
I work out, I meditate. So I love that whole philosophy, because it puts you in the realm of personal power, and they live simultaneously, but you're only in personal power, circumstantial power. And a really good example of that I like to share is like, when somebody wins the lottery, is that circumstantial power or is that personal power? Well, it's circumstantial power, but the personal power is the intuition that said, go buy the ticket. Mm-hmm. And your personal power is, I like my thoughts, my choices, my disposition, or I like the fact that I cleaned up this mess of reacting to this person and calling them awful names. Mm-hmm. Like, personal power elevates everything.
And that's such a good, I love that you said that, because something can happen that's out of your control. Like you were saying, you can have control more about what you're eating and things like that. But otherwise in life, things just happen. But you still have a choice how you react, and you still have a choice in what you want to do, action or not take action. So reframing, because I think, why is this happening to me? That victim out. I'm not picking on anybody. We all do it. I've done it many times. Why is this happening to me? How about what choices do I have in this moment? It might feel like it sucks, but like, you still have a choice. That's amazing power, right?
Oh, God, just the choice to get to the higher, I call it the ladder of emotions. At the top is gratitude, love,
forgiveness,
personal power, and my favorite, thankfulness. Mm-hmm. Appreciation, and low is like, despair, depression, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember one night just knowing that I was in this state and I could not get out of this state. Like the cat we just talked about, the cat was homeless. Best cat I've ever gotten. I don't know where she showed up. My kids found her outside. She just kept, and it got to be winter, and then they wanted her to have a little like, that cat is like one of the greatest gifts I've have been given in this lifetime, right? But in this this very challenging day where I'm like, why can't I get out of here? And then I'm like, what are you going to do to feel grateful? What are you going to do? And I walked outside and I started petting that cat. Oh. And then that thought led to the next thought and led to the next thought and led to the next thought. Well, I know we're talking a lot about philosophy, but in all of that, those of you that are linear, you know, that like concrete, I'm often asked the question, like, if you were going to give anybody advice that wanted to improve their health and make it simple, what would you do? I go, it's super easy. You know, if I'm having a conversation with any of you and you're like, what can I do to change my health? The first step, actually not in any order, 3 things. Detox. I'm in a sauna 5-6 days a week, or Bikram yoga. I'm constantly sweating. That's why my skin looks great. That's why I have clear, like I sometimes yesterday had a good 16-hour day. But I hit the gym about 6:30 and, you know, gentle workout and then sauna, steam room, walked in the water. And man, I was able to come home and stay up till 1 and get a project done. Like it just is the best reset because you sweat 2 ways. Internally or externally. So internally means you're producing it through cardio. Externally means you have like a hot room or you're in a sauna, right? Even get into a hot bath or a hot tub. You will know you're sweating from your head, but just sweat. Like there's so much toxins, water, air, processed food, right? Second, go green. Just go green. Now, if you start going green and eating 90% produce, it's just going to change everything. I'm a sprouter. I do intermittent fasting. You'll learn about that in our community and the detox, the 15-day Kickstart Detox. But my last meal is at 8. My first meal is at noon or 1. And you'll see my nutritional green smoothie. Even those of you that have diverticulitis, the seeds are incredible, but they're grinded. They're grinded and they're put in your refrigerator. They're like powder. Like I don't even feel any necessity to eat anything except for drink my smoothie, which is about 30 ounces. Third, get rid of the sugar, man. We got a whole ebook for you on our, what we call ingredients to avoid, body temple shopping guide. So much of it you can get online. But there's so many ingredients that have these names you can't even, unless you research, you don't know what they mean, but they mean shit.
Well, if you don't know, best is just avoid it. You know, I think Food Inc. had that, Food Inc., the documentary from years ago, good tip, like stay on the exterior of the grocery, right? Like meat and produce, don't go to the process. But if you know, it's like if your great grandmother didn't know what it was, don't eat it. So all these chemicals, natural flavors, things that we didn't have as kids and stuff. What is that? Like, just avoid it. It's actually easy. Sugar is so toxic. I know it's so addicting, but it's so toxic. And then I love I'm pregnant right now, so I can't do the fasting, but
so exciting.
Yeah, thank you. But I do celery juice, and then that helps me not eat for a while in the morning.
Oh, so good for you.
It's a good detox, but the fasting, we won't get too deep into that, but I always think back to what did our ancestors do, because I think we could learn a lot from them. It's not these like Miami Beach diet. It's like literally what did they do? They lived off the land. Sometimes they would eat. This is kind of my opinion on diet. I'm like diving into that really quick because I know we're kind of getting close.
I'm with you. I know where you're going.
But eat deer, right? You eat meat for a few days. You caught it. You got that. But then you could go a couple weeks without meat and you're eating whatever else you can gather, right? So you don't need meat 3 times a day. You don't need meat every day. You don't need just vegetables. Like that's just my opinion is intermix, balance, and the fasting too. They didn't always have the food to be eating.
I'm not a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Vegan.
No. But I just think that's a simple way, if you're kind of confused, play around with it for yourself.
It's so wise because they traveled too, way back. Yeah. Like you're right, whatever was on the land. So that's why food combination is so bad. Mm-hmm. Like when I go to dinner, I will order a meal and like I love ahi tuna, and but I will eat my salad. I'm bringing my like whatever produce I'm going to have. Then my carb I end up taking home with me, and because I like to eat that a little later. I might eat that the next day, and then I'll eat my fish source. But I don't combine food.
Okay.
I just don't.
Which is a very American thing, right? Like, well, not just American, Germans do it too, like meat, potatoes, like the starch, the protein, the veggie. That's kind of how we've been taught to eat, right? Yeah.
And it doesn't digest the same.
Yeah.
That's why people are like, well, how am I getting bloated from a smoothie? It's because you have fruit in it. Okay. So you're doing green or you're doing a fruit smoothie, right? It's not really combining both.
I see. Yeah. That's interesting.
Well, can we talk about the free gift?
Yeah, let's do it.
This has been a wild, awesome conversation. I cannot wait to share this with our followers. So in the show notes, you'll see the link to the 15-day Kickstart Detox program. And basically we're going to be, I would just say it's ideal for those of you that know I'm ready for change and I want a plan. So we're going to begin by helping you get off the stands and in the court and make a decision. So until you make a decision, like I shared about Patricia Fripp, the entrepreneur convention, I hate my body. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of this. I'm ready to make a decision. That's going to help you. That's the first part of that whole process you're going to see in the video. And then second, we're going to guide you on 3 completely different plans. And you're going to get into habit for the first 15 days. And then we're going to teach you why the gut is the engine of the body and how to create a process with your plan to honor your gut. We're going to show you how to detox your gut. We'll lead you to at least one product. Like, you think about detoxing, choices you make and the products you take. So one product that for 15 days that can help you 100% chemical free detox that will support you during those 15 days to reset your gut. And then we're going to help you understand how important it is to shift poor habits to ideal habits and notice the triggers. Like, this is crazy for me to share with you because I've never really been an alcohol person, but I always drank when I would go out. And when I got healthy 18 months after that, I would go hang out. Like, I love music and I love to dance and I'd be with a group of people. And I would tell myself before I wasn't going to drink. And then I would notice that when I was getting ready, I felt like I wanted a cocktail. Well, until I started to really get into process with this coach, my trigger was not alcohol. It was the environment. Like, when I go out, I like to groom and then slow down, which I never hardly get to do, play music. And I would pour myself a glass of wine. And then I would go out, maybe have another glass of wine, hang out with a group of people, but I could not get out of that. So that's why one of my affirmations for a while was, I don't meet friends in environments that promote alcohol. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And so after I got through that, and training my brain, I was able to do it. So if information worked for all of us, we'd be successful. You have these triggers that start to show up. And until you train your brain, your serotonin and your dopamine will win over you.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So that's it's called bodytemplekickstart.com. It's really simple, bodytemplekickstart.com. You'll be led to a link, and it's a 42-minute video. You'll be in a nurturing sequence. A coach will reach out to see if you have any questions. They're incredible. They'll get you any resource you want. We have hundreds of resources. You'll notice below the video, there's a 3-minute evaluation. Why is it 3 minutes? Because we thought of everything you'd want or not want. You're just checking a box, man. And then it spits out this data so you can see what's challenging you and where you're headed and what you want. It's phenomenal.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely put in the show notes. We're going to put your website in the show notes and make sure it's available for people. Thank you for helping so many people. Your inspiration, your passion is, I can feel it. And, thank you for doing that, because there are a lot of people that they want to make change and they just don't know how to do it. So it's great that there's resources like yours. And so thank you for your work.
It's just so needed right now. I mean, our medical is a train wreck. You get on that journey. Yeah. Oh, wow.
And our food system, that's something that I'm really talk about a lot on this podcast. Food and chemicals in our products, like, it's a nightmare. And it feels like, actually, to me, honestly, this sounds dramatic, but one of the biggest crimes against humanity. I'm not joking you. Like, don't get me started on Roundup and our crops. Like, it's making us sick, literally. Like, it's so horrible. And so, but we have the ability to control it and make change and become educated and choose to support companies like yours, supplement, no chemicals, buying organic produce. I mean, it takes work, but once you know about it, you know, knowledge is key. So there's a lot, but start small where you can.
You'll save so much more too. Like I mean, why do I say that? First of all, people always think it's going to cost more. Like the supplement that I'm going to introduce you to is like 25% off. I don't know. It's like $40. It's 100% chemical free and or 30-day guarantee. But what I'm getting at is like, produce really doesn't cost a lot. You know, like if you're having a little bit of fish in your, it's just not expensive. You know, what is expensive? And this is how we're trained. Like what Laura just said was a wealth of information, because we are manipulated and we are in this hypnotic state. It's Friday night, damn it. And I deserve to go out and have whatever I want because I have worked hard and I'm going to have 2 cocktails and I'm going to buy whatever I want. Yeah. And I don't care if that bill's $145.
Right.
And then feel like shit the next day. Seriously, why?
Yeah.
But the truth, like I mean, I was that guy. Right. I was that guy. Like, but when you get past that and you realize, oh, I'm more present. Oh, I'm more productive. Oh, I'm more calm.
Feel good.
More engaging. Everything in your life changes. Yeah. People are engaged by you. You have a vibration. You think clear. You don't have to be plugged in. Like, I went to acupuncture today. I had a massage yesterday. Like, I don't play in the healthcare arena. Mm-hmm. I don't have insurance.
Yeah, you take other.
I pay $1,200 a month for insurance. I just don't do it.
Yeah, there are different ways, and I mean, yeah, like the whole thing. Spend $145 on crap, and you feel like crap, or you spend an extra $1 or $2 on something sometimes for organic. It's like we should be investing in our health. If you're buying lattes at Starbucks, and it's not a criticism, just something to think about. Things that you don't really need for nutritional value, but then you say like it's too expensive to buy organic. Just think about it. You know what I mean? What do you want to invest in? How do you want to feel?
Coffee was like, I could not, it was one of the most difficult transitions for me, but I just replaced it with coconut water.
There you go. Yeah.
Just, I do a little caffeine here and there, but that's.
Once you remove it, I feel like I remove tea because I don't do well. My heart does not do well with caffeine and coffee. Like I can't do it. I'm like a hummingbird. It's like, but you just kind of get used to it. You don't miss it. Like celery juicing, I've never had more energy than I have with celery juicing. People drink coffee and then they feel tired 3 hours later. Just nature.
Well, your skin is immaculate.
Wow. Maybe it's the pregnancy glow.
Hormones.
Yeah.
How far along are you?
I am 30 weeks. So, the
wow,
last trimester.
Where is it?
I know. It's coming. What did you say?
I said, where is it?
Oh, well, it's right. The bumps here. I'll show everybody.
Oh God. It's so cute. My God. You have not gained any weight above the belly, dude. Like, look at you.
I feel like I'm walking around with a bowling ball, though.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh, you look fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much.
Stood up, I would have lost the game show.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to add some excitement. So
I know that's
so
just
fun.
Anything that you need. Yeah. You'll notice with the Kickstart Detox support at bodytempleloc.com. We're here to help you. That's what it's all about. Like changing the world and helping people live extraordinary, fulfilling lives of vitality.
Yeah. Because we all deserve to do that. So you deserve to feel good. Yeah, we're meant to feel good. That's the last thing I'll say in my closing.
I think you need to create a course.
Oh my gosh.
Women. I do.
That'll be fun. But I heard this from Medical Medium, the dude that basically like is responsible for the whole celery juice like craze. But he said, like with autoimmunes, like our bodies weren't meant and built to attack ourselves. And I just don't buy that. Like you have an autoimmune, sorry, like, you know, a lot of doctors, like there's just nothing you can really do about it. Our bodies weren't meant to attack each other and feel like crap. It's all these external things that we're putting in and our environment. So you deserve to feel good, and it's possible to feel good. So I just want people to know that if you don't feel like, you know, you've lost hope because you're sick, there's so many resources out there, and just like keep it up. Like you're going to get there one of these days, but yeah, just know that you're not alone. There's people, you know, like you that are helping. And so, yeah, thank you for being on the show. This was awesome.
Such an honor to be on the show. Yeah. God, love this interview.
This was fun.
One about 200, one of my favorites.
Oh, this is
those of you, gosh, just once you register for that, go to your calendar and just say 42 minutes or 15 minutes until you get to the 42 minutes. It's all transcribed too in the Kickstart Detox Gut Manual. And see, the 15 days is about a reset. That's all it is. You know, once you get past those 15 days and you see what you're able to accomplish, even if it's at a 60% capacity, you'll shift.
Yeah.
You pivot.
I love it. Very fun. Cool. Guys, thanks for listening, and check out the show notes, of course, because there's lots of good gems in there. So thank you.